I'll go closer to the mic as bidden by Joe. Well, isn't this wonderful? Welcome to this year's Waterstone's Local Authors Party, and we're here in person. It's great to be together again. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Torin Douglas. I'm the director of the Chiswick Book Festival. And a year ago, because of lockdown, we filmed these 2-minute talks at the Chiswick Playhouse, and we streamed them thanks to the wonderful Chiswick Buzz. You can still see those recordings on our website, along with the interview I filmed with Antonia Fraser and Michael Billington about Harold Pinter, another of our most distinguished local authors, and indeed one of Chiswick's 2 Nobel Prize winners. The other Nobel laureate is W.B. Yeats, and next year we'll be honouring him with a sculpture outside St Michael and All Angels in Bedford Park by the wonderful Conrad Shawcross. But that's a story for another day. It's actually 2 years since we were over the road upstairs in Waterstones listening to James O'Brien and lots of other local writers taking the 2-minute challenge. It was a wonderful occasion, but we were all very close together, and we knew that it wouldn't work this year. So we're delighted to have been welcomed here by Ben and Manjit and their team at the George IV. Also James Barber and some of his Waterstones team have decamped over the road, as you see from over the road, to sell the author's books. Now, we could never have run this festival without the brilliant support we get from Waterstones. Over the years, their teams under successive managers have just been brilliant. They have carted more books than you could ever believe over the road into St Michael and All Angels. Sometimes they used to wheel them on trolleys up Turnham Green Terrace. Later they invested in a van, which was probably an improvement, and I'm sure James will probably have a van this year. But we all know that authors want to sell books, and we want to help them sell books, and so we want you to buy the author's books. It's why we keep the ticket prices low, so that you've got the money left to buy the books, and without Waterstones, it could not be done. So a huge round of applause, please, for James Barber. I must also mention the huge support we now get from Bridget Osborne, the editor of the Chiswick Calendar, who's hosting all our events here at the George IV. I'm told she rarely leads here, in fact. You can see her in the middle there. That is her place. She runs jazz evenings, she runs media talks, and all sorts. And today in her newsletter, she has at least 4 articles about this year's writers and books. So please do, if you don't get it, just Google the Chiswick Calendar, it's there. But she's got profiles of several of the authors who are going to be speaking in here on Saturday and Sunday, and that's fine. She left one thing out, which I'm going to mention later on, so and she's going to have another go at that story, I hope, later. So our wonderful other person is our programme director, Joe James. We could not run this without Joe. When we found Joe, we found a total treasure, and she has lifted the quality of this festival, which has been going on for 13 years now. She has raised the quality immeasurably. She has brilliant contacts. I have to say Chiswick is a very good arrow in her armoury, because it means that she can get some of her very best authors like Giles Brandreth and Alan Johnson and Ed Balls here. And if she wasn't programming for Cheltenham, we would not get that. So it's a wonderful mutual relationship that works very well for both of us, and we're absolutely delighted. So a huge round of applause, please, for Joe. Now, Joe's going to shortly introduce our speakers for the evening, and she's hoping for the chance to blow her horn when somebody strays over the 2-minute deadline. So don't be too good, any of you, please. We need somebody to go over 2 minutes, just so that we hear the horn. Now, before she does, I want to alert you to our COVID guidance, which is simply to be considerate to others. We want people to feel safe and comfortable. Our volunteers are wearing masks, so feel free to wear a mask if it makes you and others feel safer. But when you're sitting down, unless the people next to you particularly want to, I think you can relax perhaps a bit more. If you look around Chiswick, everybody's playing slightly differently. We're all feeling our way, and we will take whatever guidance and whatever people say. So if you want to feed back to us about what you think we should be doing and whether we're going too far in one direction or the other, we'd love to hear that. For the rest of the festival, we're asking people to try and buy their tickets in advance online to reduce the queues on the day and to reduce having to sign up all your contact details on the day. And of course, if you've not studied the leaflet, you'll find lots of great names, and particularly local ones. Nancy Mitford on Thursday at Chiswick House, Claire Balding and Alvin Rakoff on Friday. Alvin is the 94-year-old film, theatre and TV director who's lived in Bedford Park for 50 years. He's got his memoirs out at the age of 94. This is only the first volume, so he may be back later, but he's a fabulous raconteur. And when he launched the book last week at the Mill at Sonning, the first question came from George Clooney, so we were all very impressed. So anyway, we've got a few clips. He's the man who discovered Sean Connery, or gave him his first break, and also Alan Rickman. He was a neighbour of Richard Pryor's. Richard Pryor told him to buy the house in Bedford Park. So it's a very local Chiswicky event, but he's a really distinguished director. He directed A Voyage Round My Father, the John Mortimer book about his father, and won an Emmy for that. He also did Dance to the Music of Time for Channel 4. He's a great figure, and we ought to know more about him in Chiswick, so this is your opportunity at the Arts Ed on Friday. On Sunday afternoon, we have a session about Anthony Burgess, and this is the one that I'm hoping that Bridget is going to get behind, and why he has been turned down for the second time for a blue plaque in Chiswick. This is going to be a fabulous evening, I know, and I'm now going to leave you in the very capable hands of Joe James.
Now, unlike Torin, I've prepared absolutely nothing. So this is going to be a wing it speech. Would anybody like to hear the Horn of Doom?
Yes. Absolutely.
It's an old car horn, so it doesn't give quite the sound you're expecting. So beware speakers, 2 minutes and 2 minutes only. Now, a couple of just tiny admin things. First of all, speakers, when you're speaking, you have to get your mouth really close to the microphone in order for the speakers to work. So focus on keeping it there, and don't go like that, because then we can't hear you and you come back to here. So stay quite close to the microphone. We can adjust the height, because obviously not everybody's as short as me. We would love to do a group photo with all of our local authors this evening at the end of the show. Roger, who's been climbing dangerously on a stool over there, would like to gather all of you on stage, so when all speakers have been, before you disappear to the bar and quench your thirst and your nerves, we'd like everyone on stage, please, who's speaking tonight.